I've enriched the original data set to align individual DRGs to their respective product lines. So here I'm looking at general cardiology product lines, which are naturally comprised of individual cardiac-related DRGs. The first dashboard lets the users look at this information geospatially. So I've broken it out by state, and obviously Hawaii and Alaska are down below, with color representing the cost per discharge. So the more red it is, the more expensive it is per discharge for general cardiology patients in this case. If I were to select New York State, because it's red, I can see the individual zip codes that comprise New York State, and quick analysis visually tells me that downstate New York tends to have more expensive discharges than upstate and western New York. I can further highlight a specific range of zip codes and see the respective providers within those zip codes sorted from most expensive to least expensive per discharge. The second dashboard allows me to look at the outliers, the highest relative to the lowest on a per patient basis. So here I can, again, look at general cardiology patients, but narrow it down specifically to DRG 291, for instance. When I do that, I can see the most expensive providers for DRG 291 tend to be in Maryland in this case, with Johns Hopkins and the University of Maryland Medical Center. The cheapest across the United States happens to be in Nebraska and Bellevue Medical Center. So Bellevue Medical Center is, by a factor of 6 or so, more efficient or less expensive than the most expensive in the United States. Over on the right-hand side, I see all the summary by state for DRG 291 of the average cost per discharge. So I can see naturally Alaska is an outlier, but I can also select the individual bubble, for instance, for New York State, and see the individual providers within New York State, and using 2 standard deviations, show the outliers within New York State relative to the other New York State peer hospitals. And so I can quickly hone in on those that tend to be more expensive and drive the cost for New York State patients for DRG 291. The final dashboard allows me to analyze total aggregate spend for the top 5 product lines for Medicare inpatient discharges. So in total, Medicare has spent about $32 billion. I can select the general cardiology piece of that segment, which totals to about $9 billion, and I can further break that down into individual DRGs. So if I selected DRG 291, DRG 291 represents about $2 billion worth of activity in terms of net aggregate payments from Medicare. I can then quickly look at that information by hospital and see the top hospitals across the United States, with Good Samaritan Hospital being the most highly reimbursed provider for DRG 291. In conclusion, the usage of data visualization techniques combined with the ability to group the information into similar types of DRG product lines, along with additional filtering options, allows the user to interactively explore the data and make conclusions very quickly within the information data set.